Hi, I'm Janine. Thank you so much for watching my channel. In this video, I'm going to first share with you some news that I think is quite exciting. And second, I'll show you 3 makes for my new travel wardrobe. Before I get too far into things, I do want to thank everyone who has watched and commented on my last couple of videos. I've been reading the comments. I haven't had a chance yet to reply to all of them, but I will. As you'll hear, I've been pretty busy, but I am going to take time and finish replying to all of the comments soon. One thing that has surprised me is the varying opinions on the mood carry top that I made up. Some people like it with the belt, some people like it without the belt, and one of my thoughts that I mentioned in the video was that I was going to add some belt carriers to it, and I have not yet added belt carriers because I'm going to try it both ways and see how I like it. I may just leave off the belt carriers so it can be worn either way. Something else about that particular make, I noted in my video quite forcefully that Mood Patterns didn't include any printable instructions. They are there, as someone pointed out. There's some icons just above the pattern information that you can click on if you want to download them to Word or to PDF. So I will update the description on the other video with that information. When I started sewing again in 2015, we were in Atlanta. I didn't know anybody who sewed. My skills were horribly rusty. And then I found the Sewing Guild and I joined the local chapter. And that was just such a positive experience. I met people who shared the same interests that I did. I got to spend time with them. I learned a lot. It was really fun. I so enjoyed being part of that group. And then we came to Calgary and there was nothing like that here. I know there's some quilting groups, but there's nothing for people who sew garments. So a couple of months ago, I put a note on Instagram and asked if anybody else in this area was interested in starting a sewing group. And there was a really good response. And since then, I've met with several women here in Calgary who want to get some real life sewing activities going. We have taken a couple of steps. There's a Calgary Sews Instagram account, at Calgary Sews, which is like the Calgary version of Sew Over 50, but nowhere near as many followers. But if you're in this area, you can follow that account and see what's going on. We're going to repost events. We're going to highlight businesses, fabric stores, sewing teachers, things like that. We've also started a meetup group, and we had a meetup last month. We have 2 meetups planned for May. One on a weekend, one on an evening, and we're going to see how that goes. But very enthusiastic support with our first meetup group. But the big announcement, the big thing I'm so excited about, and we need a drum roll here. Save the date, Calgary Frock Tales, Saturday, September 9th, 2023. We're so excited about this. So we've got this group of people. We're organizing what's going to be a fantastic event. Sponsors are lining up. Donors are lining up. It's going to be a really good evening. Tickets will go on sale on Monday, July 17th. That's the Monday after Stampede. I'll post here about tickets. We will also post on Calgary Sews on Instagram. And there may be a web page that comes, but I'll keep you up to date here. Early September is a fabulous time to visit Calgary if you're thinking about a road trip. Kids are back in school, so the national parks are quieter. The weather's good. There isn't any snow, but there's lots to do. So if you're thinking about a road trip, by all means, let me know. And I will hold a ticket for you until you can get your ducks in a row. But we are thrilled that Calgary is going to finally join the list of all the wonderful cities and places in the world that hold Frock Tales events. As I've mentioned in a couple of my videos, I'm working on a wardrobe for a trip that we're planning. And I put together a little chart with my plans, and I've got 3 more items I'm going to check off on that chart today. All 3 patterns, all 3 projects are made with fabric from the same store, which is a local online store that's quite well known. It's called L'Oiseau Fabrics. Located here in Calgary, mostly online, but they do have limited in-person hours. So I went over there on a Saturday and I was blown away by the options for fabric. They carry mostly knits, a lot of Euro knits, plenty of things for kids, but a lot of stuff for adults too. And I was able to find all kinds of things that I loved. In fact, I bought 7 pieces of fabric. I never buy, I am not a haul shopper by any means. So this was very rare for me. But as I have been reminding myself, I want to make sure that I get things that go together. So this way I bought all the fabric together. I knew that things would work cohesively. So the first thing that I made, again, all 3 of these projects are made with fabric from L'Oiseau. I'm going to put the information down below in the description box because some of this fabric is still in stock, but I'm also going to tell you a little bit about the fabrics. The first garment is this t-shirt, and we'll start with the fabric. This is called Heathered Jersey Knit. The color is Cornflower. It's got 4-way stretch, 65% cotton, 30% poly, 5% elastane, and 50% stretch. The weight, which I think is very important, is 220 grams per square meter. Sewed up really nicely. I had no problems with my cover stitch, and my cover stitch hates lightweight fabric. So this is a nice beefy knit. And to me, the fabric looks like it would be an athletic knit because of this heathered print, but it's not. This is a nice t-shirt weight fabric. The pattern used is McCalls 6964. This is a Palmer plush fitting pattern, and I've used it a few times in the past. I had previously done a high round back adjustment on this using their lines on the pattern pieces and a short waist adjustment. I did not do an FBA because I didn't want to. I used the Cashmerette Knit No Dart FBA instead, and I think it worked okay. One thing about this pattern, I think I've talked about this pattern before online, but one thing about this is it has set-in sleeves. So you gathered them, and I did follow the instructions and gathered the sleeves and everything. And they actually say in the instructions you can set in sleeves just by stretching on knits, but we don't recommend it. I don't know if it made any difference, honestly. I think that what you could do with a pattern like this is maybe add some fabric so you could have gathered puffy sleeves, because that's still a thing. But I don't think it made that much difference. It's just, I didn't want to mess around with the pattern pieces. Changed 2 things. I cut the top 1.5 inches shorter, because as I said before, I'm finding a little bit shorter is a little more flattering. And the other thing that I did is I added this wee bit of ruching here at the front. I've been wanting to do this. I have a pattern that accomplishes this on tops, but that pattern called for having a center front seam, and I didn't want that. So when I've been out looking at clothes in the last couple of months, I've noticed a lot of tops with this style. And I looked at how they manufactured tops that have this type of ruching. And all they do is they sew a piece of elastic down the middle. That's it. So that's what I did. I just sewed a piece of elastic down the middle. Right here. That's it. And then I used a stretch elastic stitch on it. This is 1/4 inch elastic here. And I actually lengthened the front bodice by 3/4 of an inch because I knew the fabric was going to pull up a little bit. This is a very, very, very fast make for me. I think I did the whole thing in 3 hours. And that included some picking out on the elastic because I didn't like how it went in the first time. But this is the next piece on my little capsule wardrobe, and again it's McCalls 6964. Nice basic t-shirt pattern. The second item on my list was pants, and I had picked out the pattern, Simplicity 9272. These pants. They're just casual, athletic kind of pants with pockets. There's an elastic waistband. There's also cord that runs through, and there are grommets for the cord. Simple make. The fabric that I used is a jegging fabric. That's what it's called, is jegging fabric. It's 90% cotton, 5% poly, 5% elastane, and it's 300 grams per square meter, so it's pretty hefty. This is the fabric. Nice to work with. This is the wrong side. Really easy to work with though, and I am thinking that because this is designed for jeggings, the knees aren't going to blow out if you're sitting a lot in them. That's my hope anyways. Of course I used the top down center out method for these pants, but in all honesty, I made no changes. The toile fit perfectly right off the bat. I think part of that is the style of the pants, but the rise was right on the front and the back. So this was a fast make. I didn't really struggle with anything. My cover stitch liked working with this fabric, sewed it up on the serger, and I would absolutely use this pattern again and make more casual pants. I have a relatively long inseam. It's 32.5 inches. I didn't have to add any length to the pants. I have a 1-inch hem on them. These were painless, except I had some trouble lining up the grommets, and I did measure 3 times, and they're still slightly off. But I do think these will be very comfortable pants for travel because the fabric feels really nice against the body. I can wash these in a sink and let them drip dry. They're not going to get really creased, and they do look like nice denim pants. They look like denim pants. They look like denim casual pants, but they're going to be quite versatile when traveling. So again, that's Simplicity 9272, which is super casual pants with pockets in jegging fabric. Piece number 3, and this is the piece I spent the most time on. On my list I had 2 possible vests, and I picked Kwik Sew 3615. This is like an athletic style vest. I made the version without the hood. The fabric that I chose, I could have picked a sweatshirt fabric. Loiseau has a lot of beautiful sweatshirt fabrics, but I wanted something a little more elevated. So I found this knit, which is a cable knit. It's like a double knit, but it's a cable knit texture. So this is the right side, and this is the wrong side. The fabric is called cable knit. The color is heathered light gray. It's 81% poly, 16% viscose, 3% elastane. It has 4-way stretch, 30% stretch. It's 340 grams per square meter, so it's pretty hefty. I did alter this pattern. I did a high round back adjustment, and I did an FBA. I can do FBAs when I'm so motivated. I wanted this to look nice enough that it could be worn over a blouse and trousers at dinner if I'm somewhere chilly, or it could be worn out just with jeans and a t-shirt. So I took some time doing those. Then I made a point of being sure to align the cables on the pockets with the cable on the front bodice fabric. I decided to line the pockets, and I used this fun cotton fabric that seemed to work well with it. So I lined the pockets. I also added an inside yoke with the same fabric, which I think is nice because it kind of hides some of the stitching and the seam allowance is on the inside, so this looks much more finished if you take it off somewhere where people will see it. I plan to just use my regular foot on my sewing machine, but when I started working on the zipper, I realized I needed the walking foot, so I skipped back over to that. One of my goals for 2023 is improving zipper installations, and this zipper went in so well until I zipped it up and I realized I hadn't aligned the collar. So I unpicked the whole zipper and I put it back in again. Then I noticed that there was something else that wasn't quite aligned. But what I decided is, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to stop pointing out what's wrong, and if people see things that are wrong, maybe they'll think I just bought something crappy made somewhere else, not by me. But I'm really pleased with this in spite of this one small issue. So I'm not going to apologize for it, and I'm not going to tell you what it was, and if you see it, cool. It's just the hallmark of a handmade garment. Let's see, what else can I tell you about this? The arm side just has self-facing. It's hemmed. I did everything on the sewing machine. I didn't use, and the serger, I didn't use the cover stitch on this. It's quite cozy. I do very much, I say that a lot. I like the way the vest turned out. I need to find new ways of saying I'm happy with something. But the only thing about this, I won't wear it around the cats because I'm afraid, because it's kind of a double knit, I'm afraid it'll get pulls on it. But this was my big make in the last month, and this is Kwik Sew 3615, a vest. So I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to show you the whole ensemble. Those are the second set of makes for my little capsule wardrobe. I'm going to check those off on my little chart up here. I still have 3 pieces of fabric from L'Oiseau still to sew up. Sewed up 1 of the 7 pieces that I bought in my past makes. It's the navy denim cat sweatshirt fabric. So that means I've still got 3 left from L'Oiseau. I've got the pink Pucci / Paisley ITY that I got at Fabricland still for this. So I have at least 4 projects left to sew up before we go away, which means there's going to be a lot more sewing madness in the coming weeks. I don't normally sew at this pace, so this is kind of a change, but I am really having fun, and that's the important thing. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you watching my videos and following along and commenting. I hope you're well, and I will see you soon.